Let there be peace and love among all beings of the universe. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar, Namaskar. Welcome. I was speaking yesterday about self-inquiry, and some letters that I received, they had some difficulties that they couldn't do it. So further, we'll speak this morning again. First of all, to realize yourself, to identify yourself with consciousness, bliss, and your own being, you don't need any practice. Neither any dhyana, nor yoga, nor any pilgrim places you have to visit for this. Neither any charities. This is only escapism, because consciousness, bliss and being is here. So, what is needed so that you know that being is already here within you, to avoid the obstacles to it, hindrances. In spiritual life as well as in secular life, in your day-to-day living also, for every success, spiritual or secular, material success, you have to avoid only the obstacle. For instance, you want to buy a house in countryside. House is available, you don't have funds. Obstacle is only money. Some of your good, generous friend can advance you some loan, you buy a house. Hindrance is removed, obstacle is removed, and deal is effected. Or you can hypothecate to the bank and have the house. So what you have got to do is to remove the obstacles, to be free, to identify yourself with consciousness and being and bliss. Whatsoever obstacles are there, you have to remove the obstacle, and you have not to work for consciousness, which is already here now. What are those obstacles? You can sit down and think about the obstacles. Now, all over the world, you can just sit down quietly and see what are the obstacles. Sun is there, and you very well know sun does not belong to you, neither you belong to him, nor the moon belongs to you, nor she belongs to you, nor the stars. Then come down to the earth. Earth doesn't belong to you, nor do you belong to the earth. Like this, air, water, fire, ether, other things, they don't belong to you. Now you come from, say for instance, today you have come from your apartment from the hotel or somewhere else, staying in a private house. You start from there. That house doesn't belong to you. Neither you belong to that apartment. Coming in a taxi, taxi doesn't belong to you, nor you belong to the taxi. Now, all that you see, that you utilize, do not belong to you, nor you belong to it. Coming to your own self now, like this. This body doesn't belong to you, like other things, because other things that can be used by you, you are not that. It is something else, and not the being. Therefore, the body doesn't belong to you. And the senses also do not belong to you. The mind doesn't belong to you. The buddhi, discriminatory aspect of the mind also you are not. It doesn't belong to you. Then the soul also doesn't belong to you. Neither you have any relation with the soul. So soul to mind and mind to senses, senses to body and body to all the objects that I have counted. This you are not. It's very simple reason to understand. Now, these you are not. So these are only notions. These are only notions, and once you can abandon all these notions, you abandon and just stay quiet. Instantly you will know who you are, whatever it is. And you will be only left with consciousness, because all these things which I mentioned, you were quite conscious that you were living in an apartment, you came by a taxi, you are just conscious of it, your travel, but you are not the taxi, just conscious. So rejecting all these objects of sight, of touch and sound, renouncing all the objects. Now you come to point, I have renounced all these things. Finally, this object and subject relationship is still hanging. Objects, all these objects and this subject, the one who has renounced all these things. And last of all, if you could abandon this relationship of subject and object, this renunciation of object and subject, having done it, you can see for yourself what's left. There's no subject and no object, and no notions at all. All this is relationship. Their relationship must be between subject and object, and that surely you are not. Because for a little while you forget subject and object when you go to sleep. And sleep also is a state, one of the three states: waking, dreaming, sleeping. And they alternate. What alternates is not real. The reality does not change. So once you get rid of this notion of subject and object, then all is over. And you are that even before the beginning of everything. And this is consciousness. and bliss and truth, whatever it is. Actually, it has no name, it is for you to give it a name. It has no name, and you have to do it by yourself today, this hour, this satsang, and now itself. If you want to postpone, don't postpone for more than 1 year. Is allowed. Not more than, who knows? Who knows? 1 year. Nobody is sure for this next year, not even for 1 hour. You are not sure what's going to happen next minute, because I remember I was going to Frankfurt from Delhi, and one young woman with her 7-year-old daughter, she was going to meet her husband who was waiting at Frankfurt to receive her. So on the way, on board, she collapsed, massive cardiac failure, and she died. And this girl was there. So she must have been very fit to travel, taking her 7-year-old daughter also. Alas, if she knew, nobody knows. So time at hand is this. This is your time. The next hour belongs to Yama, who is merciless on all beings. Yama, you know, death. He has not spared even saints, sages, gods. But one person cannot come into its teeth. Who is that person? Who is free? Because death will take away the concept of body, notion that I am the body, and how it has been removed as an obstacle, and you are free, you are not the body. Therefore, let this Yama come now and take away what doesn't belong to you and what you are not. Let it take away the body. Yama takes away all bodies only, and not one who is nothingness, who is emptiness, who is consciousness. Even Yama has to die one day. Death even has to die one day for the next yuga. Many Yamas have died, you see. So, one who is free of all notions, he is not afraid of even death, because many people write, I am afraid of death here also. In yesterday's letters also, I am afraid of death. What is death? First of all, you have to remove your notion. What is death that you are afraid of? First know yourself and then speak about death, if you have any. You perhaps will like even Yama, you invite even Yama. Don't be afraid of him. Only you give up your notion of the body, and then who are you? Even Yama is your slave. So this is all that we have to speak again and again, to know thyself through inquiry of who really I am.